Republican nominee.
And RNC Chair Reince Priebus just back from his meeting with Trump in New York. He joins us. Nice to see you, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, Greta.
Okay, whose idea was the meeting? Who called it? You or Mr. Trump?
Well, I think it was a collective thing among all the candidates that we needed to make sure that we had party unity, and I think he did the right thing. I think all the candidates did the right thing. And me as party chairman, I've got to do the right thing for the party, which is to protect the party and make sure that whoever the nominee is, that we have all the candidates in line for that nominee so that we don't have a divided party. Look, an independent run would be a death wish, and we know it.
What protects you from him enforcing? I mean,
Listen,
it really is just honor, right?
Am I better off today than I was yesterday? The answer is yes. And so, yeah, you know what? In 6 months, if someone wanted to play that card, he was pretty emphatic. All of our candidates have been emphatic that they're not running as an independent, and running the party is my job. And I have to make sure that if someone wants to avail themselves to the party process, then they better make sure that they pledge their support for the party. So I think he did the right thing. I think all the candidates have done the right thing, and I've done what I have to do as chairman of the party.
All right, just to have a little fun with you. You know that the wrong date was put on the agreement.
I've got one with the right date.
You got one with the right date?
No worries about that.
So how long did you meet with him?
It's about a half an hour.
And what did you walk in and say you're going to sign the pledge now, or did you sort of sneak it up on him? How did you do this?
It was cordial. There's no acrimony here.
Did he know you're coming with the pledge?
Well, absolutely. I mean, we knew what the subject of the meeting was going to be, and I was fairly confident that he would do it. And look, there's no alternative. I mean, what's the alternative? Run as an independent and lose? I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you're going to beat Hillary Clinton, you're going to do it as a Republican, everybody gets that.
I guess, though, that he is such a independent thinker. Is that, and I mean, look, he signed the pledge today, and he says he's going to support the party, and I believe him, but, he might, a year from now think, well, the Republican Party hasn't treated me fairly, because I said I would do this long as fairly. I am going to go rogue on you.
But I think for some people, their word is their bond. And I would imagine
Except he has an escape hatch. He said as long as he gets treated fairly.
But he didn't say that today. He said he was treated fairly, and that as a new candidate, here's the thing, there's a lot of people running in our party now that haven't been involved in the party. And, you hear a lot of things about the party and the RNC and the quote-unquote establishment. But the truth is that he and others have seen that we're very even-handed. And he saw that, and he agreed to sign the pledge. And again, my job is to protect the party. And today was about protecting the party.
Okay, so protecting the party, you run a lot of ads, Spanish-speaking ads, to reach out to Spanish-speaking people, and you've got Donald Trump saying, essentially, no Spanish in the United States.
Look, he has his opinion. Look, I think that we need to reach out to every voter. I'm sure he agrees with that, too. I don't think there's any problem with Spanish ads and Spanish-speaking. The fact of the matter is every candidate has to decide for themselves what they need to do in order to secure the nomination. I'm not here to call balls and strikes. What I am here to do, though, is to make sure that we're always putting our party's best foot forward. And I think that means what the RNC has to do, which is very mechanical. And I think all of these candidates have to keep in mind that it's not just about winning the primary, but it's about winning the general as well. And so that's really important.
Does the expression herding cats sometimes indicate... He laughed. He
That's
laughed
my job. I knew what I signed up for.
Indeed. You got an interesting job. Anyway, nice to see you, Mr. Chairman.